Now you still see quite a few of these knocking around. This is the NC generation Mazda MX5. So now the world's best-selling sports car of all time, the MX5. Originally started out in 1989, and they're still making it today on their 4th generation. So it's been a hugely successful car for Mazda, real good brand builder for them, and just a fantastic car. I mean, this is the 3rd generation, so yeah, it moved on massively in terms of refinement from the previous MV generation. Had different engines available, so 1.8 and then 2 litre. This looks like an early, relatively low spec 1.8. You can see the fog light blanking plates there, and yeah, the kind of standard 5-spoke wheels, but really fantastic to drive cars here. They all had 6-speed gearboxes this generation, really snappy. Most importantly, rear-wheel drive handling and a really revvy engine. So although it was never about kind of top speed or even particularly fast acceleration, it was about kind of engagement, fun to drive handling, and also with good quality and reliability as well. The original kind of inspiration for the original MX5 was the Lotus Elan from the 1960s, but they wanted to make the car kind of more usable, more reliable, effectively more Japanese, and they really achieved that without damaging too much of the soul of the sports car and the kind of driver enjoyment, driver thrills essence here. This car's been here a while. You can see the rusty brake discs, but it's still standing up pretty well. I mean, it's a 2006 model, so it's best part 17 years old. Yeah, it's holding up pretty well with the usual milking of the headlights. But again, the basic kind of one of these is about, wow, where do they start? Probably about $2.5–3 grand for an okay one of these. They're a lot of them relatively low mileage. It's not a motorway car, so you can find quite a nice low mileage one out there. But actually, the one you really want, I think, for this generation is the 2-litre Sport. It's had a bigger engine, about 160 horsepower. But really importantly, it had Bilstein suspension, and then it had a locking rear differential as well, so more kind of control on the throttle, a bit more fun to drive, a bit more power, so it's kind of acceleration less than 8 seconds for that one. Do about 130 miles an hour as well. Yeah, that's the one I'd probably take. There's actually quite a lot of choice. The UK again was a very, very big market for all generations of the MX5, and this one kind of kept on getting more mature and more refined compared to the earlier ones, but that naturally comes with a level of weight increase. So this car was significantly heavier than the 1st generation MX5, and even generation before it. And it's interesting, for the current generation, the ND generation, it's actually gone backwards in terms of weight. They've done a rig weight saving program on that car to get it close to what the Mark 1 weighed. But this does not mean this car was for any reason heavy at all. It wasn't at all. It's just compared to the relative lightweight of its previous generations. So it was still really light and nimble. If you couldn't quite stretch to a Porsche box, this was a heck of a good way to go. And compared to the kind of MGFs of the era, or maybe Fiat Barchetta, far more engaging, fun to drive. The Fiats came a bit earlier than this generation, in fairness, but they really executed them well. They've always been made in Hiroshima in Japan, and they're still made there on the same production line, alongside other Mazdas. But yeah, just a really great way to travel. The roof is really, really quick to use as well, up and down in manually or electrically in about 6 seconds. They also did a hardtop RC version this generation, which meant you could have even more refinement, although it did add a bit of weight high up in the car and a bit of complexity, but didn't really damage the dynamics too much. And very easy to modify. There's been single make race series of this car, and it's been really, really popular and really durable. So fantastic car. So you get a nice kind of 2006, 2007 2-litre Sport. Refresh the dampers. They've got Bose audio as well as a bonus, and just enjoy it. You know, it's not going to depreciate much, and it's just got to keep the rust, keep an eye out for that, and enjoy and drive away.